Very good morning to all of you. In this session, we are going to learn some of the programs regarding about the C programming language. Let us see. The next program is write a program to check whether the given number is prime or not. So this is the program we have to develop by using C programming language. Let us see how to develop the logic. First, I am writing the comment lines here. Program to check whether a given number is prime or not. Next, our C program can be starts with header file. So write down hash include stdio hash include stdio.h or C execution can starts with void main. Next, here we have to declare the variables here. What are the variables we need? For counting purpose, one variable, and for given, that is to check whether the given number is prime or not. For that we have to take the n value. Okay, let us take int. For providing the input value, I am taking the variable as n, initially I, and for counting purpose, let us take count is equal to 0. So here these are the three variables we need for checking whether the given number is prime or not. Next, we have to read the values from the keyboard. For that we have to use printf and scanf statements. Just I am writing some message here. Enter the number. Read the value from the keyboard. %d, ampersand n. Okay. So first part is a declaration. After that we have written the reading statements. Now we have to check the condition. For that I am taking the loop of for. Here we can assign the three parts here: initialization, condition, and increment or decrement. So here I am taking the I is equal to 1. Next I less than or is equal to n. Then I plus plus. After that, here we have to check whether the number is prime or not. We have to use the modulus operator here. Okay. So for that we have to take n modulus I or not. We have to check that one. If n modulus I is equal to 0 or not. Whenever this condition is true, then automatically a count value can be incremented by 1. Okay, so this is the logic we have to follow. Next, now whenever this condition is true, after that here we are checking another condition. Whenever count is equal to 0, then it has to print the statement as whether it is prime or not. So printf the %d is a prime number comma, in place of this %d we can call it as n here. Next, else printf %d is not a prime number. Here we can call it as n here. Okay, simply we can close the main function. So this is the logic we have to return whenever to check whether the given number is prime or not. Let us check is it correct or not. See, Just these are the first part we have written. This is the declaration part. What are the variables we have declared here? N for the input value and this for counting. Then it is for storing, checking the number. So count is equal to 0. Here these are the reading statement. Printf enter the number and it is reading from the keyboard. Percentile d comma ampersand n, and it is checking the condition for I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, I less than or is equal to n, I plus plus. If this condition is true, then it is checking whether it is equal to 0 or not by using the modulus operator. So n modulus I is equal to 0. Whenever this condition is true, then only the count value can be incremented. Otherwise, the for loop can be repeated until this condition is false. Okay. Whenever this condition is going to be false, then it is checking if count is equal to 2. If this condition is true, then it prints the given number is prime number or given number is not a prime number. Let us execute this one. Check there is no errors here. I am running it. Enter the number. It is asking to give the number. I am providing 8. 8 is not a prime number. I am taking another number. For example, I am providing 23. See, 23 is a prime number. Clear? Like this, we can implement the program whether the given number is prime or not. Let us see a workout on this one. Here, I am providing the input value as, for example, I am taking 4. I am checking whether the given number is 4 or not. Enter the given number. It is asking to enter the number. I am providing 4 here. Now it is checking for loop here. Let us see. For I is equal to 1. Next, I less than or is equal to n. N in the sense 1 less than or is equal to n in the sense 4. Next, I plus plus. Okay. Next, 1 plus plus. This condition can be done here. After that, it can be check n modulus. N in the sense it is the 4. 4 modulus I means 1, that is equal to 0. That means this condition is 0. That means our count value can be incremented by 1. That means count is equal to 1 here. Actually count is 0. Now this can be incremented by 1. That means our count value is 1 here. Next again, I will be incremented by 1. That means here now I value is 2 here. Okay, now check the condition for 2. I is equal to 2. Next again here 2 less than or is equal to 4 and 2 plus plus. This is the condition. Next again it has to check the condition 4 is modulus 2. Okay, now condition is 4 is modulus 2 means condition is true. True means our count value automatically incremented by 1, that is equal to 2. Next again I will be incremented by 1, that means I value is 3 now. Next 3 less than or is equal to 4, then 3 plus plus. Next here it is checking the modulus operator here, that means 4 modulus 3, that is equal to 1 here. So this condition is false means the count value is 2 only, it will not incremented by 1. Next one, again I will be incremented by 4, next 4 less than or is equal to 4, next I plus plus, that is 4 plus plus, and here it is checking again 4 modulus 4, that is equal to 0. The remainder is 0. This count value can be incremented by 1, that is count is equal to 3. Now again it is checking for the 5. Next 5 less than or is equal to 4, but condition is here, the condition is false here. Whenever this condition is false, then it is come out from the loop and execute this statement. What is the statement here? So it is checking for count is equal to 2. Count value is 3. 3 is equal to 2. Condition is false here. Whenever this condition is false, then it goes to the else block. What is the statement? It has to print percentile d. Percentile d means 4 is not a prime number. This is the result it has to provide for the given number of 4. Like this it can be traced by the computer or compiler. Okay. Note it down. Let us see the next program. Write a program to check whether given number is palindrome or not. So here palindrome means whenever we are reversing the given number and we get the same number, whatever the number we have given as the input, that number will become. So that is called as the palindrome. Whenever we are reversing the number, again it should be the same. That is called as the palindrome. Let us see how can we write the program for checking whether the given number is palindrome or not. Let us take the new one. First write the comment lines. What is the program here? Program to check whether the given number is palindrome or not here. Okay, let us see. Already we have developed this one. See. Up to this one already we have developed for checking whether the given number is reverse or not. Okay, what is the meaning of reverse here? First write down the header file hash include stdio.h. Then here our C program can starts with main function. Here we are calling the variables of 3. That means n can be taken as per providing the input value. Next we are taking the calculating the remainder value. Next initially let us take the reverse value is equal to 0. And here we are taking the temporary variable for storing the original value. That means whatever the input value we have taken, that value can be stored in this variable, that is temp here. Okay. Now, this is the logic can be developed for reversing the digits of the given number. Okay, previously already we have discussed this. Let us see. Enter the number and scanner is reading the value of n from the keyboard. Now there is an extra step there, that is just it is storing our actual value in the variable of temp. That means for example here we have given the number of 1, 2, 3. Okay, this 1, 2, 3 number will be stored in our temp. That means the number can be present in our n as well as temp also. Okay, what is the reason we will discuss later. Next let us see. We are checking whether the given number is greater than 0 or not. Whenever the given number is greater than 0, then it has to perform these 3 steps here. That means first it has to calculate the remainder value by n modulus 10. After that it is calculating the reverse value, reverse into 10 plus the remainder, then it is dividing the number. Okay, up to this it is same as it is reversing the digits of the given number. Here the extra step is we need to check this reverse number and the temp number. That means temp in the sense it is the original value whatever we have provided, and it is the after reversing the given number, then the result will be stored in this variable. Now it is checking these two numbers whether these two numbers are equal or not. Whenever these two numbers are equal, then only it can be print the given number is palindrome, otherwise the given number is not palindrome. Okay, let us see. For example, we have taken the number of 2, 3, 4. After reversing the number is 4, 3, 2. Is it palindrome? No, it is not palindrome. Let us take the another one. Let us take 1, 2, 1. After reversing the digits 1, 2, 1 only. This is called the palindrome. Okay. So this is our concept to develop this one. After reversing the digits of the given number also, it should be the same. That is called as the palindrome. Okay, this is the logic has to be developed for this one. Just we have to add this logic here. Just we have to check after reversing digits with the given digits. Then it can be printed whether it is palindrome or not a palindrome. Let us check here. Let us see. See, this is the actual logic we have developed. See, first work out on this one. We have to provide the n value. Let us take it as n is equal to some 1 to 1. I am checking whether this number is palindrome or not. Okay. Now initially we have to store this into temp also. Temp is equal to 1 to 1. That means our given value 1 to 1 will be stored in another variable, that is temp here. Then we have to check the condition whether while 1 to 1 greater than 0 or not. This condition is true. Whenever this condition is true, then it has to perform the 3 steps here. What are those? First, it has to calculate the remainder value. That means 1 to 1 modulus 10, that implies it provides the 1 value. After that, it calculates the reverse. Reverse is equal to reverse into 10. Already reverse value is 0. See here. Initially we have assigned reverse value as 0. 0 into what is the remainder value into 10 plus 1, that is equal to 1 as the result, and divide the n value. N is equal to n by 10. 1 to 1 by 10, that is equal to 1 to as the result. Okay. Again this process can be continued until we get the condition is false here. Again it can be performed the 3 steps here. What are the 3 steps? See, and it is checking for 1 2 is greater than 0, condition is true, then it is again performing remainder 1 to modulus 10, that is equal to, it provides 2, and here before that reverse value is 1 here, 1 into 10 plus 2. Okay, so that means 10 plus 2, that is equal to 12 here. After that 12 by 10, that implies 1 as the result here. Okay, and same process can be repeated until we get this condition is false. After performing that, our reverse value can be, now check here, already temp is equal to 1 to 1. After reverse, our value should be the 1 to 1. Then it is checking whether if 1 to 1 is equal to 1 to 1. Now this condition is true. Whenever this condition is true, then it has to print 1 to 1 is palindrome. This is the result can be displayed for us. Okay, like this we can be develop the C program for checking whether the given number is palindrome or not. Palindrome in the sense whenever we are reversing the number, and also it should be the same as per the given number, that is called as the palindrome. Okay, this is the logic can be developed for palindrome program. Okay, check here, and I am executing this. It is ready to execute, and running this, it is asking to provide the number. For example, I am providing 456. See here, 456 is not palindrome. That means whenever we are reversing this number, it is the 654. That is not a palindrome. I am checking another one, some 313. See here. See, 313 is palindrome. Whenever we are reversing again, it should be the 313 only. So that's why it is a palindrome. Like this, we can be check whether it is prime or palindrome or not. We'll check it once. Let us see the next one. The next program is write a program to check whether a given number is perfect number or not. We have to check the perfect number or not. Let us see how can we develop that. See. First of all, let us see what is meant by perfect number. What is meant by perfect number? A whole number that is equal to the sum of its positive factors. First of all, we have to write down the factors for that. Factors in the sense the given number which is divisible with the natural numbers, that are called as the factors. So here, for example, we have take the number as 28. The factors are 1, 2, 4, 7, 14 and 28. But whenever we are checking the perfect number, the sum of all its factors is equal to the given number except the given number. Okay, this is the logic we have to follow. That means first, all positive factors of the given number with sum except the given number is called as the perfect number. Let us observe that 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 14, that is equal to 28. We should not take the given number. Okay, this is the logic we have to follow whenever we are calculating the perfect or not. Okay, then also let us see. First of all, we are taking the header files and we are C program execution can starts with main function, and this is the declaration part. What are the variables we need for this one? First we have to take the num. Num in the sense it can be used for providing the input value. Next one, here we have taken the one of the, see, no need this one. Next, here we have taken for counting purpose I, then for storing the result as sum is equal to 0. These are the three variables we need for this one. Now read the values from the keyboard. Printf, enter an integer number. After that, it is reading the number from the keyboard. It should be stored in the variable of sum here. That means whatever the input value we have provided, that can be stored in the variable of num here. After that, it is checking the condition by using the first statement. For initially I can be initialized with 1, then I less than m. Here observe that I less than or is not less than or is equal to m, just I less than m, because here we are not including the given number. Okay, so this is the logic we have to observe this. I less than num, then I can be incremented by 1. Now after that, it is checking whether the number modulus I is equal to 0 or not. Whenever this is equal to 0, then only the sum can be applied here, because in our factors it is applying the divisibility rule. That means whenever it is dividing with the given number, then only we will apply the factor here. Okay, so that's why here we are number is modulus I is equal to 0, then only it can be add with the I. That means the meaning of this statement is sum is equal to sum plus I. Okay. After that, after calculating this sum value, whenever this condition is false, then it is checking whether the sum value and number value is equal to same. Then only the given number is perfect number. Otherwise, the given number is not a perfect number. Okay. So let us see how can we work out on this one. See new. See See here, this is the logic we are going to develop here. First, initially I am taking the n is equal to 28. Okay, here we have to check whether the 28 is perfect number or not. Okay, for that first, what is the condition we have to check? Write down. For I is equal to 1, next 1 less than 28. Okay, 1 less than 28. Next I plus plus. This is the logic. Here condition is true. After that, it has to check the condition if number modulus I, that means 28 modulus I in the sense 1, that is equal to 0. Okay, then our sum value can be added with that one, that is equal to sum is equal to sum plus I. Initially sum is 0, 0 plus 1, that is equal to 1 here. Okay, next again it can be check for I is equal to 2. Next 2 less than 28, condition is true. After that it has to check if 28 modulus 2, here the remainder is 0, this condition is true. After that sum is equal to sum plus I. Initially sum is 1, next plus, here I value is 2, that is equal to 2 here. Again it has to check I is equal to 3, next 3 less than 28, condition is 2, true. After that it has to check if 28 modulus 3, that is equal to 0 or not. But here 28 modulus 3 is not 0, 28 modulus 3 is equal to 1, that means here this condition is false here. 28 modulus 3 is not is equal to 0, here this condition is false, that means that it will not add with the count value. Again it has to check I will be incremented by 1, that means I is equal to 4. Again 4 less than 28, condition is true. Then it has to check if 28 modulus 4, a remainder will get 0. Okay, next sum is equal to sum plus I. Before that our sum value is 2 here. Now 2 plus 4, that is equal to 6. Like this it will add one by one until up to, it will check the condition for 28 less than 28. Whenever 28 is less than 28, our condition is false here. Then it is come out from the loop and it is checking whether the given number is equal to some value. So it is checking that sum is equal to some number, the given number, then it will display the given number is perfect number, otherwise the given number is not perfect number. This is the logic has to be followed while we are developing to for whether it is perfect number or not. Okay. See, it is ready to compile. I am running this one. It is asking to enter the number. I am providing 28. See, 28 is a perfect number. Let us check for the another one. Sum 36. 3. 3 is not a perfect number. Sum 63. It is not a perfect number. Sum 143. It is not a perfect number. Okay. So, 28 is the perfect number. And check for the another one. Is there any perfect number or not? Next, let us see the next program. Write a program to check whether the given number is Armstrong number or not. First of all, let us see what is meant by Armstrong number. See. So, check whether the given number is Armstrong number or not. First of all, let us see Armstrong number means the sum of cubes of its digits is equal to the given number. For example, I am taking 153 as the number. Next, some individual digits cubes, that means 1 cube, 1 cube. You have to write down that cube of 3, cube of 1 plus cube of 5 plus cube of 3. So write down the values here, that is equal cube of 1 means 1 plus cube of 5, that means 25 plus 125 plus cube of 3, that is equal to 27. The result is 153. Am I right? So the given number is Armstrong number. Like that it can be calculated whenever the given number is Armstrong or not. The sum of cubes of its digits is equal to the same given number. That is called the Armstrong number. Otherwise, example, okay. Now let us see. As it is, here we are writing header files and main function, then we are declaring the variables. It is as like the palindrome. Okay. What is the palindrome condition? First we have to store the given number with the one of the temporary variable. Here also we have to store same like that. Because whenever we are modifying these conditions automatically our n value decreases to 0. That means we have at the last we have to check the given number with the resultant number. That's why we are storing this into the temporary variable here. Now here we have to check whether the n greater than or is n greater than 0 or n not is equal to 0. Any condition is correct. After that it is performing the three conditions: remainder, result value and division operation here. Here we are dividing n modulus 10, then the remainder value will be stored in the variable of rem, that means remainder. After that it is calculating the result plus, in the sense result is equal to result plus reminders. See, the meaning of this statement is result plus remainder into remainder into remainder. Okay, that means cubing. This is the cube operation here. After that we have to divide it. And at last, whenever this condition is false, then it has to check the condition result is equal to temp or not. This result value is equal to the given number or not. Whenever these two are equal, then it is the Armstrong number. Otherwise it will not display it will display given number is not an Armstrong number. Okay, let us check here. Okay, I am checking it is ready to execute. I am running this one. See, I am providing the number as 235. See, 235 is not an Armstrong number. And 153. See, 153 is an Armstrong number. Okay, like this you can check. Let us trace out this one. Let us see. First of all, let us take n is equal to 153. Okay. Now initially we are storing this value into one of the variable, that is 153. So this 153 will be stored in the variable of this temp cube. We have to check the condition while 153 not is equal to 0. Yes, this condition is true only. After that it has to check, perform the three conditions. Remainder is equal to 153 modulus 10, that is equal to 3. Then it is calculating the result value. Result is equal to, next result, initial result is 0. 0 plus, here it has to calculate the cube, that means 3 into 3 into 3, that is equal to 27. That means in place of our result it can be stored the value of 27 here. After that, dividing the n value, n is equal to 153 by 10, that is equal to 15 here. Okay, this is the first iteration. Similarly, it can perform the mu values. See, now our new n value is 15. Next, here it is checking the remainder value. The remainder value is 5 here. After that, before that our result value is 27. Now it is checking the cube value for the 5. 5 into 5 into 5. That means 5 into 5 into 5. That means it is a 125. So 25 plus 125. What is the result value here? 152 as the result. Next we have to check 15 by 10. Here n value is 1 here. Again the same steps can be repeated, then we will get the result as, the result is equal to 153. Now it is checking the condition if, see, result is equal to temp. Initial result value is, here result value is 153 is equal to, in temp also we are having 153. Here this condition is true. Whenever this condition is true, then it has to print the given number is Armstrong number. So like this it can be traced out by the compiler. Let us check here. See, like this we can check whether the given number is Armstrong number or not. I am running this, executing. It is asking to provide the number. Just now only we have traced out 153. See, 153 is an Armstrong number. If you want, we can check another one like 2486. 2486 is not a Armstrong number. Okay. This is the logic for checking whether the given number is Armstrong number or not. Next, let us see the next program. Strong number or not. Write a program to check whether the given number is strong or not. First of all, let us see what is meant by strong number. Up to now we have discussed palindrome number or not, Armstrong number or not, like that. Here also we are having another new one, that is strong. Here strong number in the sense sum of the factorials of the individual digits is equal to the number. Actually palindrome is just when we are reversing the number, it is equal to the given number, and unstrong number means sum of its cubes of individual digits is equal to the given number. Now the strong number in the sense sum of factorial of the individual digits. We have seen another one, that is perfect number also. Perfect number in the sense sum of its positive factors of the digits is equal to the given number. Okay, but now here we have to perform on the factorials. What is the formula for factorial? So see, this is the, for example, I am writing the factorial value, that means this is the symbol factorial, 4 factorial, that is equal to 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. The value of this one is 24. That means 1 2s are 2, 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24. Like this we can calculate the factorials. Clear? So the individual digits of factorials is equal to the given number. We have to perform the sum on this one. Okay? Let us see, 145 is the strong number. That means it is calculating individually for the factorials, 1 factorial, 4 factorial, then 5 factorial. After calculating these individual digits factorial values, then it is performing the addition operation on that one. Okay? Now let us see. Here let us take the header file and our C program can start with the main function. Now let us take the variables here. We need I for counting. This is for original number for storing the whatever the input value we have provided, and this can be take it as given number, and as usual reminder and for some value. Okay, and we need calculating the factorial value, one fact variable. These are the variables we need. That means it is as like the temporary variable. Original number in the sense for storing the original number as the temp. Next one is given number, calculating the remainder, then performing the sum operation, and for calculating the factorial value. Okay. Next here, these are the input values. Enter any number to check the strong number, and it is reading the value from the keyboard, which can be stored in the variable of num here. Next we are copying the number into the temporary variable, that is the original number, and initially we can assign the sum is equal to 0 here. Now see, here we are checking the condition whether the number is greater than 0 or not. Whenever this condition is true, then it is calculating the remainder and num modulus 10. Then it is performing main operation here. It is calculating the factorial value. What is the factorial value? Initially fact can be assigned with 1 only. Whenever you are assigned with 0 means whenever we are multiplying any number with 0, automatically it will be 0. Okay. So fact is equal to 1. Here checking the condition for I is equal to 1, I less than or is equal to remainder I plus plus. Okay. Next it is calculating with the number, fact is equal to fact into I. After calculating the factorial values, then it is adding that into the sum.